Hello. This is something that was very difficult for me to accept. It really was difficult for me to accept that every single thing that he ever said to me, he just recycles and says to everybody. It actually was the last thing that I learned about narcissism to be the truth. Okay? It happened to me just a handful of months ago. It really started to sink in a few months ago. Oh, and I said it to him one of the last times we talked. So whenever that was, I'd have to look it up. I remember saying, "Oh my God, it just hit me." I said, "You say exactly what you're saying to me." And there was like this one other girl at the time he was seeing. I said, "You say it to her." I said, "You just recycle. These are the exact sentences you said to the girl before me." "No, no, no, Renee, you're crazy. I love you. You don't know. Don't call me that word you say," because I would say it's called a narcissist. I started to try to tell him. They tell you not to do that, but I tried. But I remember when it hit me, and it is something that may not have hit you yet, because there's no way anyone wants to think that. It was a whole other death when I realized it, because I came away from the relationship thinking, I don't know why I'm leaning forward like that. I came away from the relationship thinking, when I broke up, I didn't even know about narcissism. I didn't even research that till months after the breakup, when it was like lingering and I didn't understand why I couldn't break it off. What's happening? Looked it up, okay. But when I started to realize this year that every single thing that he said was something that was repeated, it's because I paid attention to the fact that he was going through the devaluing phase with this girl by reaching out to me, because I was ex-supply. So I was going through it from this angle, what I had just gone through with him as a girlfriend. I was watching her go through it through him reaching me and complaining about their fights and all this. So I started to see that in order to maintain the relationship and have the back and forth, he has to be love bombing her hard to come back from some of the fights they had already had when I had stopped talking to him. So I said, how does she go back to you after that? Or how do you go back? I think she might be one too. They get into some dragouts, and he's got a love bomber. Well, he's not that creative. He can only come up with so much material. They can only come up with so much material. There's only so many ways you can tell somebody that you love them, and so many creative ways that you can say certain things. With all the supply they go through, they know none of us know each other. Of course they're going to use the same lines. That's when it hit me. He's saying all the same things to her. That can sting. It really did. It really did. And then I realized, oh no, it doesn't sting. It's just part of their cycle. They're elementary. Right? But it stung for a minute. And it can still, yeah, if I give it a lot of thought. Because you want to say, like, I wonder how she reacts when he says, I've never been in love before. I wonder how, like, if she's believing him when he says that she was made for him and they're twin soulmates. If she's believing him when he says he's going to marry her and she'll never do anything and he'll treat her like a queen and she'll be put on a pedestal, and he says all those things. Well, those are what he said to me. Whatever good things he has extracted from her personality and mirrored and figured out she wants to hear are what he's going to say to her during love bombing. He said to me but he's going to tailor it to what she wants. So if she doesn't want marriage, maybe he doesn't say that one. But it's always going to be the same love language, I bet. I mean, it is. There's no way they're that creative. They're not like, Shakespeare, that they can come up with endless ways to talk about love. They have a limit, right? That kills. It does. But you know what else I thought of? It's the good and the bad. Not just they say the same stuff to everyone with the love bombing and everything. The bad too. And you give this some thought, because I've already given it some thought. My narcissist had insults for everybody. When he talked about either wife, any girlfriend, when he would call me with this new supply and they're in a fight and he'd stop over for coffee and tell me what happened, he had 18,000 insults for all of these people. So I often wonder, what my insults are. I do give that some thought too. I'm like, I wonder what he says about me. Like, because he has them at the ready. He has to insult a person to whomever he's speaking to let them know that he's not interested in her. That's what they do, right? So I never even took the insults that he told me about the women to mean anything, because I would get wind that they were fine women. There's nothing wrong with these women. They were all cute, hard work. Like, there's nothing wrong with these women. So when your person tells you, oh, you don't even know she's this, she's that. First of all, don't believe that he believes the insult that he's trying to tell you about a new or ex supply. That's him trying to throw you off his scent of her, or her scent that he's onto her. Because he's probably still texting her. And he's insulting her to you to make you think there's no way he would ever want anything to do with her. But he's texting her. And in this case, he was going back to the girlfriend. Again and again and again. They're in their own cycle now. And then I cut him, whatever. But, oh yeah. So I do wonder, the good and the bad, both, they say the same to everybody. Or the insults, I guess, they can maybe try to tailor make to something on you, especially if you've given up with an insecurity that you don't like your arms. He's going to pick on them. Whatever you say about yourself that you don't like, he's going to pick on. But then I'm sure they have a general list of insults that'll go to anybody, just like they have a general list of love language that'll go to everybody. But I do wonder what my insults would be. I think he'd probably say I was psycho. I'm not even kidding. I know that's the word that guys use because I have a brother and I have friends who are men, and I know that's the word they use, psycho. I definitely think that he would say that, although he always says he follows it up with, but I drove her to that. Because he knows I went ballistic because it was just deplorable behavior. And so, yeah, I would scream. I would yell. So, yeah, he'd say she was like that. You know what I mean? I have a temper. I would scream. Sure. Yep. But then if somebody insults, this is where we women or men, victims, can align with each other. Because if he used that, say, to the new girlfriend, I think about this stuff all the time, about the new and the old and the ex, because we're all the same person, just different stages. So I think about if he did say to the whoever he's with now, if he's talking about an ex supply, let's say he's talking about me, if he uses the word psycho or she's crazy or whatever, and doesn't say, but I drove her to it, whoever he's talking to, if they're going through the bad cycle with him, they know why. Because they're acting psycho with him too. And they already know how mad you can get because you cannot believe what he does with his behavior. So I feel if we all look at the woman or man that is in a different position than us and realize they're getting told the same things as we are, it makes us all be more unified and feel like we really are in the same boat. It's not you versus the narcissist and his new supply. It really should be all of us interlocking supply, whether we're the new, the ex, the old, the future, all of us against the narcissist is what it should be. Oh, it's your turn with him? You're in that cycle? All right, honey. We'll be here when you're done. We'll be here for you. Swear to God. Like if there was like a little, oh, my Rhode Island accent just came out this. Swear to God. If there was a little channel of communication and we're all on a string and we're in order, right? So it was the wife, the girlfriend, the new supply, ex-supply. Now he's just going through. You can think of yours the same thing. And then we're reaching out to each other. Honey, how you doing over there? Oh, he's starting to devalue you? Yup, mine was hell. I'll be here when you need me. Just give me a call. We're all, yeah, yours was hell too, huh? I know, because I was your new supply. Like if it was a chain. And we could all talk to each other. And I would say to the girl before me, you know I didn't even know that he was texting you, right? There's things we could say to each other that would put us on the same side and him on the other side. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. And when the narcissist has a new supply and he is in the love bombing phase, that new supply hates every woman before her and every woman after her. And that's a phase she has to go through. Once you get to the other side and you're out of the cycle, you can look into it in a clinical fashion, which you know I've done. That's the whole essence of this channel. And when you do look at it in a clinical fashion, I told you before, I see a circle. And I feel bad for who's in the new supply spot. I feel so bad for the person getting love bombed. Because they have no idea. That's ironically the worst place, I think. Because you are, and you might say, well, wait, isn't devaluing worse? Well, of course that's hell. But when I say it's the worst place, you are completely unaware of what's about to happen. And you might say, well, isn't that the best place then? So you can look at it two different ways. I guess, but I don't like being unaware. So no, I don't like the fact that I was completely blissfully unaware that the rug was about to be pulled out. I don't like that state, that I was in that state. Let alone what my mind and heart were happy, unbeknownst to me. But I now know, looking back in a clinical fashion, that I was in a state of ignorant. I didn't know what was going to happen. That makes me nervous. I don't ever want to be in that again. I want to assess the situation accurately, see all the red flags, call out everything, know where I stand. I did not like where I was in the love bombing. I'm on 3 different tangents, but I think I've maintained the same topic. I never stop thinking about the fact that they say the same thing to everybody. And here's what I can promise you. I would die if I thought my man was saying something to someone else that he should only be saying to me. Period. That's where it starts. No way, I'm over it. Because it has to start with speech, right? So they're with you, and then they start to groom new supply, the poor things. And they're getting texts, or they're on the line dating, or whatever they're doing. She's getting all that love language. That is unacceptable already, because the love language that somebody shares with you should be a one-on-one thing. Unless you're polyamorous or whatever you do, that's your business. But I'm saying, if you are in a monogamous relationship and that's your agreement and you're committed with each other, there's no way on earth. The whole thing just turns me right off. I'm not even attracted. You're saying those things to somebody else? Like, we need to start looking at it like that. I'm not even attracted. If you're saying the same things, it really helped me with the final breakaway when I did realize it. Because I said, ew, you're saying the same things to everybody? So then you feel like a non-person, and it hurts for a second. For a second. I was already so far broken up, though. But it did sting for a second. But I just, it's unattractive to me. That quality made me not be attracted to him anymore when I realized it. That there was absolutely nothing unique or special about anything that we did, or he was just passing time. It was whatever we did, hanging out, Corona, that's just because that was the time of the time for him. None of it meant anything. Now he would say, that's ridiculous, you can't say that, I've never loved anyone like you, till his last breath, that's what he would say. I don't care. I know. And you know. And that's the thing. And if you never thought of this before, I really am sorry that I'm telling you this. And I hope you represent some uniqueness to your guy or girl. But for the most part, this is what the research shows, and this is what has to be the truth. They cannot possibly come up with 10 different wonderful, creative, new, original ways to woo people in a year. 10 times a year, let's say, one a month. There's no way. How could they do that? Could you do that? Have you repeated things different times you've been in love to people? I have. And I thought I meant them at the time, but I'm like, that's a good line. I'm going to recycle that one. No, I'm kidding. That's not how I think. No. But if you find I love you so much, I mean, I've said that to several people, of course. I love you so much. That alone. I've said that to, I've had boyfriend, you know what I mean? I've been married once, like that's what you say. So even if it's just that, but these guys come up with really, really intricate and long love language that's stunning and dazzles you, knocks you off your feet. And they recycle that. There's no way they can come up with that good stuff. I'm sorry. It's the truth. I'm over it. I'm over it. If anyone ever tries to even talk to anyone else like that, and you're with them, you really need to think about then they're coming back to you and saying the same things to you. In other words, if you catch them, they're grooming somebody, they're saying that's what they're saying. That's how they get them. How do you think they get them? They have to woo them. How do you think they got you? That's what I mean. I even said to him, so I know you say all the same things to her because you keep wooing her even after these big fights. No, I don't. Nobody gets the side of me like you do. She doesn't see that side of me. Nobody see. You want me to believe that? Okay. Ears and eyes open. And let's all stick together. That might be fun. I think I'm going to make a little string.